Welcome to my unforgettable adventure. If you're new here to the channel, my name is Chris. I bought a 26-foot sailboat with no experience how to sail her, and am now working my way from Rhode Island back to Tennessee. This is my journey that I am sharing with all of you who might one day be inspired to take on a journey of your own. If you enjoy the content or find it helps you in any way, please like and subscribe and share with others to help support the channel. I didn't really bring a whole lot with me. I brought my bag of clothes, my dive gear. I stopped at the store to get some tools and just some basic stuff to put on the boat. Of course, I had to get some water and a dive tank and a dive flag. My first full day on the boat, and I'm already learning that boat cleats are not your friend if you kick them. Be careful where you step. After spending my first full night on the boat, it was time to learn how to start sailing. TJ, the guy I bought the boat from, went all around Rhode Island with me. We started out from East Greenwich and went to Newport, Rhode Island. Here you see me pointing into the wind and trying to understand and memorize the different points of sail. For those that are not aware of the different points of sail, whether it's on your port tack or a starboard tack, you have into the wind, which is your no-go zone. Then you have a close hauled, close reach, beam reach, broad reach, and a run. We ended up arriving in Newport at night, mainly because this was my first day sailing close-hauled, and I was not very good at tacking and kept slowing us down. I did learn, however, by coming in at night, that the lights on the bridge looked awesome. Besides that, I also learned that I absolutely did not enjoy anchoring at night in such a busy harbor. The next morning, after having breakfast, we started to head out. We left Newport, Rhode Island, and headed to Block Island, Rhode Island. This would be my first offshore passage. When we arrived into Block Island in the afternoon, we hooked up to a mooring ball. It cost $50 a day there. In the morning, after looking at the weather, we decided we were going to leave out around 2 o'clock. However, they made us leave the mooring ball at 10 a.m., so we moved over to the anchorage and dropped anchor there. At the anchorage, TJ decided to go for a swim and seen a crab. So he asked me to hand him the net, and sure enough, he caught a crab. This was absolutely the freshest crab I've ever tasted, as the moment it came out of the water, we instantly put it in a pot and cooked it. Sometime around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we pulled the anchor and set sail for Point Judith, Rhode Island. I was definitely a little nervous today because TJ had let me know that although he'll be there in case I need help, that I would be doing everything on my own from start to finish, including anchoring for the first time on my own. And looking at the map as we go up the channel in Point Judith, it looks super narrow, which it was, and you need to follow the channel all the way up because the sides are very shallow and not deep enough. If you go too far left or right, you could ground. So the next morning we left Point Judith and we came out the eastern side of the harbor refuge, around the torpedo range and up to Middletown, Rhode Island, where I stayed on a mooring ball for 2 nights waiting out the weather while TJ went to the house to spend time with his wife. And this was probably one of my hardest days on the boat at this point, as I really struggled in the morning to pull the anchor up, and that just snowballed affect the rest of the day for me. So after having spent 2 nights in Middletown, Rhode Island, which really wasn't anything to do there, TJ had come back and brought his uncle with him to do a trip with us from Middletown, Rhode Island up to Bristol, Rhode Island. So TJ had got off the boat in Bristol, Rhode Island, and I stayed the night on the boat there on the mooring, and then I spent the next day going through the museum in Bristol and just walking around and checking the place out, which was kind of nice. The harbor master in Bristol, super awesome guy. I think his name was Greg. And the next morning I came off the mooring. This was the first time I was coming off mooring on my own. I started the engine, looked around, made sure everything was good, dropped the mooring, and sure enough I got my dinghy line caught in the prop. The harbor master came over and hooked up to my boat, made sure everything was good to go, took me over to the dock, helped me get the engine started again. I was really grateful to have his help because at that point that I dropped the mooring, I was just kind of stuck drifting without his help. So that was super awesome, super grateful for his help on that one. Hey guys, so I just wanted to pop on here real quick and say thanks to those that are still here following along. I've been working kind of hard on these videos. They take me a while to do as I'm still new at this. I know this video in particular is a little bit longer than the previous ones, as I'm trying to get everyone caught up from where I started to where I'm at now. If you are enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. That helps the channel grow and helps reach out to others with it. Anyhow, so I appreciate that, and let's continue on. So leaving Bristol, Rhode Island, this would be the first time that I was completely on my own, nobody else on the boat with me, sailing from Bristol back over to Greenwich Bay, Rhode Island. So I definitely started out with some pretty crazy struggles on my first day out sailing completely on my own. Started when I got the dinghy line caught in the propeller, to the engine, to trying to tack out of Bristol, and that didn't work out very well. And then I ended up coming through some storm clouds on the way over to East Greenwich. Luckily they were just behind me, but I ended up dropping the sails and motoring over just to try to get past the storm clouds. So definitely was an interesting experience on the first day. It could have been worse, but it could have been better, but we definitely made it over there in one piece, so there's that. So after I left Bristol, Rhode Island and went over to East Greenwich, I was completely exhausted. I mean, I had been pushing so hard for the previous week and a half. I just needed a little break. So I ended up getting a mooring ball over there in East Greenwich, and stayed there for a couple days. Ended up getting a rental car while I was there to get some provisions and stuff, stock up the boat, get ready for the trip out. I was really fortunate while I was over there to meet some really awesome individuals. I'd like to, really big shout out for Fred Curtis. He's one of the shuttle drivers over there. He definitely helped me a lot. He gave me some advice, introduced me to Kevin Quinlan and his wife Boo, who ended up actually coming out for a day on my boat and getting some practice in with me on my boat, and then turned around. I went back a couple days later out on his boat, which was really cool. His boat is Windward, and it's like a 36-foot Beneteau, I believe. So nice to have that experience on a completely different vessel, being as new as I am. I met Janice and Randy, Pete Burdos and his wife, and then I met Lynn Evans' wife, and she gave me her husband's number. Unfortunately, I haven't actually been able to meet up with him personally, but super awesome guy, has so much knowledge of the area, and he was willing to basically give me a really good rundown on, leaving East Greenwich, going to Fisher's Island, going to Port Washington, how to get through Hell's Gate. Super awesome. Anyhow, so I just wanted to give a shout out to those guys because I unfortunately don't have enough footage or video on that. But I am definitely grateful for all the people that I've met out here since I've been out here, all the good advice that's been thrown my way, and all the encouragement to keep going and keep doing what I'm doing. So that's been super awesome. Super excited, super nervous. I got the dinghy on deck, I did my first docking, got fuel, got water, and I am out, headed south, and decided to make my first stop at the Harbor of Refuge in Point Judith. The next morning I woke up and left Point Judith and headed for Fisher's Island. A super cool little island, doesn't really have a whole lot. A supermarket, ice cream shop, and a gas station. Pretty much all they have on the entire island, but it was a good experience, good stop, and I enjoyed it. I stayed in Fisher's Island for a night and then headed out the next morning. Ended up going to Branford Harbor, Connecticut, and anchored there just outside the harbor area there. Super nice anchorage area, super calm, really nice views. So the following morning I left Branford Harbor, Connecticut, and took a pretty long hike down to Port Washington, New York. I spent a couple days there, went into New York City. I spent some time going over the currents, trying to understand what was going to happen coming through Hell's Gate. It's a really nice place to stop, really chill area. Actually, the first night mooring there is free, so if you're in the area, coming or going, then take a stop there and check it out. So New York City was kind of a disappointment for me. I was expecting a lot more live entertainment or street shows. But the cool part was I was able to get a new hat, and I learned that Jollibee's is here in the US. So after having spent a day in New York City, I decided the next day to go get my feet cleaned up and get the ingrown toenails pulled out. Normally my wife would do this for me, but unfortunately and fortunately both, she is at the house taking care of the zoo while I'm on this journey. So after I had spent what I felt like was more than enough time in Port Washington, trying to learn what I needed to get through Hell's Gate and muster the courage to go do it, it was time to pack up and go. And so we got everything we needed and we headed out. So I ended up making better time than I planned getting through Trog's Neck Bridge and ended up feeling I was a little early. So I spent about an hour outside of LaGuardia Airport just basically drifting in circles, waiting for the currents to change to get through Hell's Gate. So I arrived in Rhode Island on July 6th, and today is now August 8th. So what you've seen so far, I have done between July 6th and today. And today I am now sitting here in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. Looking at leaving out probably Wednesday, I think. Tomorrow I will get some water together, get some food together, just restock the boat and everything. I think the next jump is going to be to either Atlantic City or Cape May, New Jersey. So it'll be basically my first offshore passage. It'll be my longest passage so far. Maybe most likely overnight. So I will try to make sure I get some video and some footage and stuff to share with everyone on that one. So that should be pretty exciting. I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm also super excited about it as well. But if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. And if you would like to give me some feedback on what I could do better, as I'm still learning how to make these videos, what kind of things you'd like to see, just put it down in the comments and I'll try to reply back when I can. I'll be making a video shortly in the next few days on Atlantic Highlands, because I've had a lot of people come up to me and ask me, hey, have you seen the dinghy dock? Do you know where it's at? Also, I went to West Marine, a little bit different path than most probably know about, so I will share some of that in my next short video. So hopefully you stick around and check it out, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you.